All right, so we're leaving out of the house. We are heading to Crawfordville to meet up with John Berkmeyer and the boys with Florida Adventure Trail, Sunshine Adventure Company, Baptism Overland, a couple other. So we have a 2-hour drive to get down there, and we'll be camping for about 3 days, 2 nights, 3 days, something like that. So Ella's my ride or die. Got the truck all packed up. I'll tell you all the saga about the truck later, but here we go. All right, so we made it to the meetup spot here at Crawfordville, Wakulla County. Old rusty Ford trucks. Pretty cool spot, man. It's one of many spots on the Florida Trail that's just got some cool stuff. Pretty cool, pretty cool.
at the top end once Ben goes through. Ben is through. Open up a little bit and wait for Risa and Ron and everybody else to catch up.
Yes, that wasn't the deep one. That was. Yeah. That's gonna be another one. I was like waiting for you to go down. You never did. Not gonna complain about the car wash though.
All right, so we made it to camp. Got some dinner on the go. We're doing some Wagyu beef burgers out here on the side of the Apalachicola River with a great bunch of people. Really looking forward to tomorrow. It's been an awesome day so far. So I gotta tell you guys the saga of the Land Rover. A few months ago, John invited me to go to Talladega with this same group of people. It was like 2 months in advance kind of thing. I was like, all right, well, cool. Now is the time for me to build my center locking diff transfer case. I had most of the parts together, but I ended up ordering a heavy duty cross pin and new sun gear and planetary gears and thrust washers and all this stuff. I actually ordered it from Ashcroft Transmission in the UK, had it shipped over here. Went through all new bearings, all new seals, set all the preloads, had everything dialed in, installed the front output housing from a 95 Discovery 1 with a center locking diff mechanism, whole deal. Pulled the transfer case out of my truck, installed the new transfer case that I had built, and this was probably a week and a half before we were supposed to leave to go to Alabama. Drove the truck to work the next day, and when I checked underneath it, I had a fairly significant transmission leak. Got home, looking at it, was leaking between the transmission and the transfer case. It had to be the output seal. So I pulled the new transfer case out. Sure enough, the transmission output shaft seal was leaking. What ended up happening is when I removed the transfer case, I guess I put downward pressure on the output shaft on the transmission and kind of ovaled out the transmission seal. And it's a 20-year-old seal with 170,000 miles on it. Should have replaced it when I was there anyways, but lesson learned. So I hurry up, I order a new seal from Atlantic British. It gets here. I install the new transmission output shaft seal. And because I already had it apart, I put on, which would be the second transfer case input seal into the transfer case. I reinstall the transfer case, drive it to work, get to work, transfer case is leaking between the transmission and the transfer case. So I get home. Now we're like a week out from having to leave to go to Alabama. Pull the transfer case out again. Evidently, when I had the apart the second time, I put a nick in the aluminum case, pulling the transfer case input seal out. When I put the new seal in, it cut the bottom of the seal and it was leaking. Could not get a replacement part in time. Ended up having to cancel going on the trip to Alabama. I was super, super bummed. But good news is I got an LT230 center locking diff transfer case installed in my 03 Discovery 2. One of few. Super awesome upgrade. Super excited. So then John invites me to come on this trip. I'm like, hell yeah, dude. Truck is super squared away. Running perfect. I'm ready to go. Well, about a week and a half before we're supposed to leave on this trip, I start the truck one morning and I hear like a knocking noise, like not a good knocking kind of noise. My immediate thought was, man, that sounds like a lower end engine knock. I'm like, but it can't be. This motor's only got 50,000 miles on it. It's ARP head studded. It's Turner Engineering top hat sleeved. Like this motor's squared away. Well, after a little bit of digging, and my buddy Chuck came over and helped me diagnose it, we figured out that it had to be the flex plate. When we moved the inspection cover from the transmission, I got up there with a stethoscope, and you could hear the noise in the bell housing, but really no way to confirm it. So I ordered a new flex plate and flex plate ring from Atlantic British. They got it here pretty quick. It arrived the Tuesday before we were supposed to leave on this trip, which we were leaving on Friday. The new flex plate gets here. I'm standing in my front yard at 2:38 in the afternoon. The UPS truck comes down the road. I grabbed the flex plate. I worked until about 4:30, had to go to EMT class, got home at 9:30 at night, finished installing the transmission back into the truck, and I was in bed by midnight, Tuesday/Wednesday. Drive the truck 50 miles to work on Wednesday with really no test drive. Everything's perfect. Get home, and here we are, we're on this trip. So when I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the saga of the Land Rover, this thing's been awesome. It's got 170,000 miles on it. It's had a really hard life. I've put it through a lot of shit. But this truck has always got us home. It's always been super reliable. But stuff breaks. 20 years, 170,000 miles, stuff breaks. But the timing of it was just tough. But it all worked out this time, and I'm happy to be here. Talk to y'all later. Guys, day 2. It was a cold night last night. We camped here on the banks of the Apalachicola River. Got 8 of us stacked up here at the campground, but nice and spread out, pretty cool. Got some coffee cooking, kind of foregoing a formal breakfast this morning. We're just gonna have some little apple pies and some snacks for breakfast. We'll do a nice big breakfast tomorrow, but yeah, it was a fun day out on the trail. The last trail that we did today was a lot of fun. Real tight, a little muddy, nothing crazy, but a lot of fun. Great group of guys, really nice people. We're really enjoying ourselves doing that. So it's been a lot of fun. See you on the trail today. Camp Coffee Roast with Blowing Rock, North Carolina.
Okay, all right. Nice, dude.
Had to bring that out.
Like it.
It's funny how you can start out a trip, never have meeting a group of people before.
So it worked out perfectly. The great thing is, we met for the first time last night.
You spend a few days together hanging out, getting to know each other, bonding through adventure, adversity, and fellowship, and you leave feeling like you've known each other forever.
These buffoons. All of you think it's hilarious all the time.
This is why I love the Overlanding community. About meeting new people, making lifelong friends. Met so many great people on this trip, people who I hope we can make many more adventures with in the future. And John, thank you for letting me be a small part of this project. If you haven't checked out the Florida Adventure Trail yet, you definitely need to. It's definitely worth it.